Welcome back to another edition of John Ammo in the Archives. From now on, going here on out, I'm going to be trying to do one video per night during the week. I would say that's going to average out to probably about 5 videos a week. Going to be doing a lot of football videos, some wrestling videos, political videos, and world events, things that piss me off every day. I'm no longer making videos for the hit count or to get my own television show. Now I'm just trying to express my voice because I feel like there's so many people out there posting so many wrong and controversial opinions. Kind of want to set the record straight on a bunch of stuff. So that's what we'll be doing from here on out. I wanted to touch really quickly on this Ray Rice, Rodger Godell situation and domestic violence going on right now in the NFL. Let me just start out with the Ray Rice situation really quick. If I was in charge of the NFL, and if what I say was the law of the land, Ray Rice would never step on an NFL football field again. He would be permanently banned, in my opinion. He should never play football again. And here's the reason why, and here's my thought process on this whole thing. Any person who is physically capable of taking their hand and hitting a woman that hard, to me, they're not even the same type of they weren't raised properly. They're not even on the same level as a person like me. Like, to me, Ray Rice is a total and complete piece of shit. I don't care how many people wear his jersey. I don't care how popular he is. To me, one-on-one, if there were no television cameras, if there was no NFL, if there was no law, and I met this guy on a plane, on a field, and we were looking eye to eye, I wouldn't even say anything to him because he's a piece of shit, and he doesn't deserve to talk to somebody like me who was brought up a lot better than somebody like him. For those of you who didn't see the video, Ray Rice knocked this girl out. The girl, his current girl, his fiance, the girl hit her head on the banister, and then he's dragging her out of the elevator. I mean, it's if you have the capability to hit a female that hard, I really just have to question everything about your life. Like how you were raised, where you're at in the first place, how you got there. Let's be honest with one another. For anybody who watched the video, this girl goes straight down. She hits her head on the railing, on the steel railing. Easily, this incident could have been much worse. The girl could have hit her head. She could have died, and we would have been at a much more controversial situation. For me, there is no question about it. If I'm the commissioner of the NFL, instantaneously, once I find out exactly what happened, Ray Rice is permanently banned from the league. And some people on my football page were arguing something about like Dante Stallworth and how he killed somebody in a car accident. Should he be allowed to play? Or Ben Roethlisberger, he raped somebody supposedly. Should he be allowed to play? All that stuff is different. Like Dante Stallworth, it was an accident. I realize what he did. He didn't have the mens rea or the state of mind to kill somebody, and it was an unfortunate accident. Ben Roethlisberger, there's no charge, there's no camera, there's no proof that he did that. If he did do that, he should be in the same boat as Ray Rice. The thing about the Ray Rice incident is it's all caught on tape. Not that we really need the tape. I kind of feel like the people who are saying that we need the tape are chicken shit anyway, because let's be honest with one another. The girl walks into the elevator and she's 100% okay and she's walking fine, and then 2 minutes later she's unconscious being dragged out of the elevator. I mean, do we really need the videotape to make a determination on something like this? I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Now, let's move on to the NFL and the NFL executives. So, my Facebook status update when this whole thing first started was, I find it very hard to believe that 4 or 5 or however many NFL educated executives who make 6-figure salaries got inside a room, sat inside a room, watched this videotape, and determined, okay, we're going to give this guy a 2-game suspension. But that's exactly what happened. So in other words, people who are supposedly much smarter than me because they're in a much higher position than I am and they make a whole lot more money than I do, let's be honest, they're probably not any smarter than I am, but they're supposed to be a lot smarter than me. These 4 supposedly or 5 individuals get inside a room, watch the video, and determine that this guy deserves a 2-game suspension, right? So then, of course, you have all the media backlash and the fan outrage, and everybody is questioning it like, dude, are you guys fucking crazy? You're going to give this guy a 2-game suspension after he just knocked his girlfriend unconscious? And, of course, the media cycle goes into a spin, and the NFL wants to save their sponsors, and they want to act like they're doing something. And so then they come out with their whole new domestic violence policy, which in itself is a fucking joke to begin with. I mean, your first offense, you get 6 games, and your second offense is a lifetime ban. So let me guess, what does that mean? You're already preparing the fact that you're going to let people get away with a first offense and a 6-game ban. So what you're saying now is, even though you beat your wife or you beat your girlfriend or you beat your kid, you got one time and you can get away with it and only get 6 games, and then we're going to welcome you back in the league with and if you don't do anything else, you'll be fine. I mean, the pure hypocrisy that's going on here is absolutely mind-boggling, ridiculous. Rodger Godell is, by every stretch of the imagination, a piece of shit. And the fact that this guy makes $40 million a year, to me, is just disgusting. I see this guy, and he just looks like a slimy fucking politician, and he's up there making all these bullshit rules, and he's telling people that he's changing the game so it's all these nonsense rules. The clear answer of what's really going on here is Rodger Godell's got to go. He needs to be fired immediately. He needed to be fired yesterday. Now, I just want to give you a quick history of what's going on here with this situation. So, when the situation first came out, I forgot the guy's name, the executive from the NFL. He comes out and he basically lies. He says all this stuff. He's on the Mike and Mike show. Mike and Mike literally ripped this dude to shreds. And he sounds like one of the stupidest, most bumbling fucking idiots that I've ever heard in my life. He literally dodged every question that was out there. And he said that the 2-game suspension was fair and yada, yada, yada. Only to look like a complete asshole when obviously they changed the rules and they admitted that they were wrong, right? So Rodger Godell, he can't even come out and do this himself. He's got to send his cronies to do it for him. You know, he came out a month later, but he has to send his cronies for him in the outset to see how public reaction is gonna what the public reaction to his ridiculous statement is gonna be, right? So then Rodger Godell hires 3 new female executives, right, to quote unquote oversee the domestic violence situation in the NFL, right? And here's the problem, right? The problem is all of these people that are being hired, they're all under the Rodger Godell umbrella. So it doesn't matter if it's a black guy, doesn't matter if it's a female, doesn't matter if it's a fucking alien. They're all going to say the same shit, and I'll give you my example. The 2 days ago on the Mike and Mike show in the morning, they got this stupid idiot female executive that sounds like the biggest douchebag I've ever heard. She's literally on the Mike and Mike show. She's avoiding every single question that's thrown at her, and she's literally dodging around every answer, not answering shit, going down her own path, and I'm like, this is not going to change. You're not, no matter, you can hire a girl, a woman, you can hire a minority, you can hire Garfield from the cartoon. It's not going to matter. They're all programmed under Rodger Godell's umbrella, and before they go out and give the interview, Rodger Godell says exactly what they can and they can't say, and you get some watered down, bullshit, ridiculous interview. And to me, it's just absolutely appalling that these guys are getting away with it. And here's the sad truth about the ultimate reality and what's really going on. The problem is, even though everybody knows Rodger Godell should step down, he's lost all credibility. The players hate him. He's a piece of shit. The media's making fun of him. The problem is the owners love this guy because people like Jeffrey Lurie, unfortunately the Eagles owner, and Bill Belichick, he's given them so many breaks about different shit in the past that now he's got them all in his back pocket. And so until the owners do something about it, we're going to be saturated, or until sponsors start pulling out their product, we're going to be saturated with the same bullshit over and over and over again, and this shit's not going to change. This shit, like, he gives a 1-year suspension for somebody smoking marijuana, and he gives a 2-game suspension for someone knocking out their girlfriend. The mere fact that this even goes on in his head just tells you that he's not meant for the position. He should step down immediately. He's an embarrassment to the NFL. And one last thing that I wanted to say. When Rodger Godell suspended Sean Payton for the year, it was all about, his words to Sean Payton was, it's all about setting an example for the rest of your team. You should have known better being on top what was going on in the bottom. Rodger Godell, you hypocrite, big mouth, narcissistic piece of monkey shit. You have the nerve to go ahead and suspend Sean Payton for not knowing what's going on in his organization when your organization, people have been running roughshod for the last 10 years, beating their wives, killing their friends, all kinds of shit, and now shit is coming to a fan because finally, it's finally caught up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Rodger Godell must be fired. We must be a voice of the community as a fan base and get this guy out of here, because as long as Rodger Godell is running the National Football League is going to be a watered down, shitty product of what it once was. Look for me later in this week. Tomorrow, the next day, I'll be doing a Philadelphia Eagle 49er preview. And that's that. Thanks for watching. John Hamill from the Archives.